What fills someone determines what flows out of them. And that simple idea might completely change how you see Jesus. There's a line in John's Gospel that most people have heard so many times, it just passes by without much thought. It says that when the Word became flesh, he came full of grace and truth. But there's something deeper there. The word translated grace carries the idea of joy, which means this isn't just saying Jesus showed kindness or favor. It's saying he arrived full of joy, not partially, not occasionally, full. And that matters more than we think, because whatever someone is full of doesn't stay hidden. It comes out, it shapes how they speak, how they respond, how they relate to people. So if Jesus was full of joy, then joy wasn't just something he experienced from time to time. It was something that defined his presence. It means when he walked into a room, something changed. When he spoke, something was carried with his words. When people were around him, they felt something different. And that explains a lot. It explains why people gathered, why they stayed, why they were drawn in. Because joy has a way of doing that. It attracts, it invites, it feels like life. But somewhere along the way, that picture shifted. We started to imagine Jesus as serious, reserved, even heavy, as if he moved through life constantly weighed down. But that's not what full means. Full means it was always there, even when things were difficult, even when people didn't understand, even when resistance showed up. Joy didn't disappear because it wasn't dependent on those things. It was rooted deeper. And there's one more part that's easy to miss. A few lines later, it says that from his fullness we all receive. In other words, what he carried didn't stay with him. It was shared. Joy wasn't just something he had. It was something he gave. And that changes the entire picture. Because now joy isn't just something to admire in Jesus. It's something meant to be experienced, not forced, not manufactured, received. So maybe the better question isn't just, was Jesus joyful? Maybe the question is, what happens when you begin to see him that way? Because if he really was full of joy, then joy isn't a side note in the story. It's part of the center. And it might be closer than you think.